I spent a lot of time lately looking at statistic sites. We all do, right? You can easily find stats on countries, and for the US, you can find state numbers. But try to find out which cities have been hit hardest by the pandemic, and you run into a wall. I'm in California, and we are now in third place for the virus behind New York and New Jersey. But we're hardly challenging for the lead. New York has over 10 times as many cases as we do, and 6 times as many as second place New Jersey. But make no mistake, this is not about states. This is about cities. These states have high numbers because they contain cities that have high numbers. Here's a breakdown of the numbers for New York by county. You notice that New York City is listed here. Normally we think of a city as being inside a county, but in this case 5 counties are inside New York City, what we call the boroughs. Manhattan is New York County, Brooklyn is Kings County, the Bronx is Bronx County, Staten Island is Richmond County, and Queens is Queens County. So these 5 counties share New York City as their county seat. This is where the overwhelming number of COVID cases are. But if we look at the next 5 counties by number of cases, what do we find? We find the 5 counties which contain the suburbs of New York City. Nassau and Suffolk counties on Long Island, and Westchester, Orange, and Rockland counties spreading out north of the Bronx. This is where the people live who take the train into Manhattan every day. But what about New Jersey? Well, the great majority of the cases in New Jersey are in Bergen County, which is also just full of commuters from Manhattan. That's it right across the Hudson. If you go to visit New York City, you're really going to visit Manhattan, aren't you? This is the hub. This is the heart of the city that never sleeps. Los Angeles has long been seen as a wannabe New York, but LA is so very different. My friends who move here from New York never get over it. 10 or 20 years later, they still call themselves New Yorkers. They still read the New York Times and root for the Yankees. I should say my liberal friends do that. New York is Mecca for liberals. Why do you think they call the New York Times the Bible? Our mayor, Eric Garcetti, keeps telling us that we're the next New York in terms of coronavirus, that our numbers are about to take off running like those of the Big Apple. It's almost as if he wants that to happen. I mean, if you're the super liberal mayor of the second most international city in the country, you are always dealing with an inferiority complex. I hate to disappoint him, but it ain't going to happen. These are the numbers for Los Angeles County and its surrounding counties as of Saturday, March 28th. We now have 26 deaths in LA County. That's for 10 million people, 1 million more than New York's 5 boroughs combined. And we have massive travel from China. So why are Eric Garcetti's dreams of a New York-style apocalypse doomed? One word: density. Our 10 million people live on 4,750 square miles. By contrast, the 5 boroughs of New York combined are just a hair over 300 square miles. New York City has 85% as many people as LA County on 6% of the land. Manhattan, the main event, sits on just 23 square miles. The city of Los Angeles has twice as many people as Manhattan, but it covers 20 times as much area. Los Angeles was designed around the automobile. We have what is called suburban sprawl. As we grew, we just kept pushing out, eating up farms and dairies and hundreds of thousands of acres of citrus orchards. We are now extending our suburbs out into the desert. New York had nowhere to go but up. Look at the Los Angeles skyline compared to that of Manhattan. You've seen the pictures of live animals stacked in cages in Chinese markets. New Yorkers have lived on top of one another since the first tenements were built in the early 19th century. Density is kind of their thing. I've been checking in with Governor Cuomo. He doesn't update every day like Trump does, but in the morning. This has made him by far the most popular Democrat out there. They might just send Biden home and draft Cuomo at the convention. I'm just saying. But Andrew Cuomo himself is wrestling with an enormous inner conflict. A light bulb has come on in his head that he's trying very hard to throw a blanket over. Here he is the other morning making a Freudian slip.
Will also enact mandatory playground social density. It's probably a new concept. No close contact sports in a playground. No basketball.
He was talking about mandatory social distancing, and he called it mandatory social density. And whoever did the PowerPoint in post-production didn't catch it. Why did he confuse distance with its exact opposite? Probably because the man has been thinking a lot about density. Here he is later in his chat, all but admitting that New York City is Disneyland for a deadly bug. Listen carefully. He accidentally coins New York's new t-shirt slogan.
Why does New York have so many more cases than any other state? How can it be? You're 15 times the number of California. I mean, it really is breathtaking when you think about it. State of Massachusetts with 30 times the number of cases. So why is the question that people ask me. Two answers. Answer one is because we welcome people from across the globe. We have people coming here, we have people who came here from China, who came here from Italy, who came here from countries all around the globe. We have international travelers who were in China and who were in Italy and who were in Korea and who came here. And I have no doubt that the virus was here much earlier than we even know, because those people come here first. That's the first answer. The second answer is because we are close. We talk about the virus and how it transfers in a dense area. It's literally because we are close, because we live close to one another. And that's why the virus communicated the way it did. Our closeness makes us vulnerable.
New York, our closeness makes us vulnerable. Closeness sounds almost cuddly, doesn't it? But that's a hard sell these days. Nobody wants to cuddle with strangers from unknown countries with God knows what in their spit. Not after a month or two of media fear-mongering and mass hysteria. When the studies of this plague are all done, there will be one truth rising above all others. People are not designed for such tight proximity. But viruses are. I've known for many years why the biggest cities all gradually become democratic strongholds. If you cram people into tight quarters, they get overstimulated and paranoid. They get desperate for resources. Rents skyrocket, trash builds up, and some of the neighbors are criminals. People become herd-like and easily spooked. Big controlling government starts looking like a good idea. The last thing that Democrats want is an exodus from the big cities. It would be impossible for them to win elections without urban crowding. But I think that when this mess is over, we will see an exodus out of New York. I'm reminded of New Orleans after Katrina. Half the city's population left, and most of them never came back. People want to put trauma behind them. The old Democrat motto is, never let a crisis go to waste. Between now and November, Democrats will do everything possible to pin the blame for COVID-19 on Donald Trump. This means they will have to trot out the most gruesome stories they can find. And in the minds of us all, New York will come to represent the epicenter of disease, past and future. People are pretty smart. They understand why New York is the virus king. If this goes on much longer, they will have become accustomed to working from home and living at a slower pace. They will have become accustomed to social distancing. You think they'll be eager to get back on the subway with all the other sardines? A massive rethink is in the offing. Perhaps this includes a massive move to smaller cities. And as the morning slowly breaks on our wounded economy, the sun will begin to set on New York City. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to our channel and then click the little bell to get notifications.